Welcome to Cardano Over Coffee. Please remember to join us live Monday through Friday on Twitter Spaces at 1:30 p.m. UTC, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to like and subscribe to our YouTube and download our podcast on all major platforms. Today's guest is Flooftopia, an MMORPG Cardano game that's builds first and mints second. Creators of the Build-an-NFT Functionality. Don't forget, we'll be at Rare Evo in Denver, Colorado, August 24th through the 26th. Get your tickets now at rareevo.io. Use discount code COC10 for 10% off. Again, that's COC10. Grab your coffee and let's listen in. We're going to get to our first guest, and we're going to get all floofed up. We have Flooftopia here. What up?
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Good. How you been?
Good morning.
Pretty good. Busy, but busy is good.
Yeah, it's better than, being broke and unemployed, right?
Yes, I would have to concur.
No one likes languishing at all. I mean, we definitely want something to do.
Let's start by, I know you've been here before, and a lot of people here know Flooftopia, but who are you? Where did you come from? And how did you get to Cardano?
Oh, of course. So, hello, my name is Conrad Swift. I'm the founder of Flooftopia, and some of you might know me as the host of the Cardano Convo. So, how I got to Cardano, I think I took a very similar path to most people. It started with cryptocurrency, read up about it way back in the day, like 2012, reading up on it, and then got into Bitcoin, got into Ethereum. And then kind of from there, I found Charles's whiteboard video. And I was like, I'm kind of hooked. And that's how I got in. Yeah, that's a very common story. But then after that, I was in Cardano since it was just a wallet. I mean, I remember the dataless sync times being like, oh goodness, like I'd get home, start up Daedalus, go cook dinner, come back, and it'd still be about 20 minutes till it loaded up. And then, I mean, I've just kind of been here since then. I originally was just kind of a lurker. I would buy up ADA, just kind of look at the content, etc. But then once Goguen started, I'm like, I think I have something I can bring about. So it was the Cardano Convo. I met a lot of people who, when I had the idea for Flooftopia, could actually help me to make it happen.
Excellent. I'm glad you found your way to Cardano. That damn whiteboard, it gets so many people. It got me back in, like early 2018. So I blame it for all my addictions to Cardano. What is Flooftopia?
Of course. So Flooftopia is a MMORPG that we are working on building. It's being built on two things: a build first, mint later mentality, which is why right now we've already built so much, and then we did the Flooftopia Founders Pass, and on the innovation of our Build-an-NFT functionality. And this isn't you mint a random NFT and then you can buy other NFTs and then you can merge them. It's you get to go, for example, to when we release it, and we'll be releasing it in 3 stages, which I can talk about in a little bit. When you go, for example, to flooftopia.org, you'll be able to, once it's live, go to the website, customize your NFT, and once you get it to where you want it, then mint it. And that is one of the advancements that we're aiming for, because we're kind of wanting to move away from the 10,000 randomly generated NFTs, especially for NFT gaming. And especially with SIP68, imagine being able to build your own character for your game and then being able to keep that data attached to that NFT. Like, there's so much that can happen, and I'm really excited for it.
That's really awesome. I've been saying for a long time that NFTs kicked off the last bull market, and the next bull market will be kicked off by probably gaming, right, in the long run. Tell me about this Build-an-NFT functionality. It's interesting.
Of course. So we built the Build-an-NFT functionality to be modular, which means it can be used on Cardano. It can be, for example, used on any blockchain that has NFT capabilities. And what you'll be able to do, for example, with the Flooftopia creator, is you'll be able to select which ears you want, change the length of the ears, change the size of the ears, rotate them. You'll be able to change the width of the eyes. You'll be able to pick the pattern of your floof, pick the primary and secondary colors. You'll be able to choose the color for the eyes. You'll be able to choose different tails, rotate that, the size. Like, it's not just, oh, I'll select these ears and then they're all the same. It's taking all this information, the rotations, the parts, etc., being able to put those into the metadata and then being able to rebuild it for in-game. And it can work with Unity games as well as Unreal Engine games. So it's really going to be, we're hoping, bringing this new era of NFTs. And I mean, I am more than happy to answer all the questions you got about building an NFT because, we're so close to getting that closed testnet out.
I see it as, I go back to my gaming past, right? As character customization is what you built into you built NFT function into character customization is probably the way it should be worded.
Yeah, I've had a couple of people when I talk to them about the idea, they've got different ideas on it. And yeah, the beauty is it does allow for character customization, but it's not just limited to your character. For example, let's say you want to have different vehicles, let's say maybe with, I know Cornucopias is doing a racing game. Say you want to be able to mint your own custom vehicles and then be able to use different ones. Then, for example, you could set it up and so that it is customizable through the Build-an-NFT functionality. And then you can also, if you want to, add certain levels of randomness. So let's say every vehicle in that case would have its own stats that have to add up to, let's say, 25, and it's split between 5 categories, like acceleration, top speed, etc. You can have that on the back end randomized for people as well. So there's a lot of customization. It's really just limited by what a project wants to do with it.
Other than you guys, have anybody else approached you about implementing this type of infrastructure?
Definitely. It's actually been a really nice change of pace because originally it was us reaching out to, for example, VC firms, us reaching out to a bunch of different projects, but we've had some Cardano projects reach out. We've had VC firms reaching out. We've had some of I can't give names on these until we solidify any deals. Some of the top 100 blockchains reaching out, wanting us to help either build an NFT infrastructure using what we've got, or just to build on their platform. And it's been a really nice change because now that they're coming to us, it really speeds things along. Because then, if you've, for example, run a business, you've done anything like that, when you reach out, that about probably a minimum of 50% of the people are like, yeah, we're interested, or they'll kind of flake as time goes on. But if they reach out to you, then they're serious. And it's, again, very nice, that change of pace from us having to reach out to people reaching out to us. It's really amazing.
Tell me about the game you're building behind all this, right? Because the NFT functionality is a big part of it, but what's the game going to be like?
Of course. So with MMORPG, of course, as you'd imagine, you'll be able to play with your friends. You'll have, for example, professions. You'll be leveling up. So, for example, there'll be miner, there's smither, there's mining, fishing, etc. And it's very much conflict without combat. So, for example, there'll still be raids, there'll still be bosses, there'll still be progression loops, and we've already mapped those out. So, in quests, of course, there's quite a bit going on there. So when you think MMORPG, that's exactly what it'll be. And we're working on building a quality game because, to go on a very short tangent, the one thing I think is holding back Web3, like gaming, is we don't have a staple that really pulls people in. Because if I were to try and convince you, for example, hey, look, you should totally get a VR headset. Like, you should invest and buy a VR headset. You'd be like, well, why?
Too late, I already in one.
I know, same. And if I pointed to a VR headset from 20 years ago, you'd be like, oh goodness, this is awful. I'm not going to do this. But right now I'd be like, oh, try Beat Saber, try Robo Recall, try Superhot. And then once you try these, you'd be like, oh wow, this is really amazing. And there's no staple for Web3 right now that really brings people in. And it feels almost more EA style cash grabby. And so the whole point of Flooftopia is to make a high quality game. And again, I can go more in detail on the game, but we're working on releasing a V2 of the light paper that would be more detailed on that. And I can say we're avoiding pay to win, and we're not advertising play to earn. It's not that you can't earn, for example, Floof token or NFTs, etc. But we're building a game that people want to play. Because, for example, while you could sell gold in WoW, you play WoW because you enjoy the game. And that's our main priority.
I used to sell my gold in WoW.
Oh no, fair enough. I never got to that with old school RuneScape. That's my classic. But actually, if you watch Flooftopia's development, you'll see a lot of homage to old school RuneScape for sure.
Actually, my addiction to selling gold started in EverQuest way before World of Warcraft. So that's where my gaming addiction started.
Okay,
That was probably like 98, 99. I don't know, something like that.
Wow, EverQuest. Haven't heard that in a while.
I used to call it Evercrack because I'd be on the, like, if back in those days, folks, like your internet went through your telephone. Oh, my parents would get so pissed at me because I would be on that game for like 8, 10, 15 hours straight and no one could call.
Yeah, dial-up was a thing. I remember that. But I see Holy Macaroni's got his hand up.
Yeah, not an actual question about your project, my apologies, but you mentioned RuneScape, and then I heard Hero mention EverQuest. Did y'all ever play, RuneScape was an amazing game. Did y'all ever play Asheron's Call by chance?
I did not.
Oh, man. Okay.
It sounds so familiar that I probably might have, but I don't recall.
It was back in the 90s when EverQuest was like the thing to do. You either played EverQuest or you were a hardcore Asheron's Call person, right? It was like one of the two, but yeah.
Yeah, so my gaming addiction goes way back, right? And that's why I'm excited for blockchain. And let me ask you a question. How many times on like your game do you mention blockchain?
So that's the actual interesting thing. If you go to flooftopia.org, our blockchain integration is optional. And a lot of people ask, well, why are you going to make it optional? Well, we're building an MMORPG, which means you need massive amounts of players to be playing. And what we don't want to do is create a huge hurdle that gamers and non-Web3 people have to do, or to go over, like, to best that hurdle in order to play the game. And so what we want to do is have people play a game because they want to and they like it. And for example, maybe they want a skin, maybe they want some cosmetic, because again, we're really aiming to avoid pay to earn, or pay to win. Holy cow. And so we're like, okay, maybe you want a cosmetic. So there's two different ways we can do this. The first is probably going to be the first iteration, which is, okay, you can attach, for example, walk you through the steps of attaching a wallet. Maybe have it through so you don't even have to leave the Flooftopia website, or maybe don't even have to leave, let's say, the game itself, and you can create one in game. And then you can use that to buy, etc. Or the better thing, and I think this is where Web3 will go ultimately, in the same way that Web 1 and Web 2 kind of move towards, is with, for example, Meld with other Web3 projects, making it so that you're able to use the legacy system or think you're using the legacy system, and you're actually on the blockchain. You just don't know it because it's that smooth. And that would honestly be the end goal. Because then, for example, maybe you're making a purchase, okay? And instead of it just being through US dollar, maybe it goes through a DEX and then it pays it out in ADA, and that's used to finance the transaction for the NFT. There's so many ways of going about it, but sorry, I'll go on a huge TED talk about it if I keep going.
Well, let me ask you this, right? So what you've built so far and what you're building is truly hard. Tell me a little bit about the team behind all of this.
You're not wrong with how difficult it is, but the team. So, okay, bringing back to the intro, when I was doing the Cardano convo, I interviewed a project called AdaQuest, as many of you might know. And so when I had the idea for Flooftopia, I'm like, I've never made a game before. I don't know the first step. So I talked with Marcin from AdaQuest, and I got to work with some of his team members. And then we which is I would highly recommend for any other NFT projects, because at first you may not be able to hire people on full time, like because obviously you just don't have that capital. But if you're able to split that with some people, you also then get very expert people in their field to be able to jump in. And for example, some of these people, to explain their past, have worked with Ubisoft, have worked with big AAA titles. Some, for example, have been coding games. Some have been coding games as well as coding, for example, self-driving and parking cars. They've been doing all of this. They've run multiple businesses themselves, and we've been working hard to bring this all together. And that if I didn't answer your question, I apologize. If so, then let me know the question. I will make sure to focus on that.
More specifically, like how many programmers are all involved in this, and like how many of them are like on the gaming versus the Build-an-NFT? Can you just kind of give me a breakdown more of like like the inside workings a little bit?
Oh, of course. So if you, for example, want to follow along at flooftopia.org, if you click the About, we have a team section. We have right now two main programmers. One is Simon, who has been working on both the Build-an-NFT functionality, because for game development as well as the Build-an-NFT functionality, because they're going to be operating together in one way or another, because, for example, once you mint this NFT, you'll have to, for either Unity or Unreal, you will have to take that information and bring it back in to rebuild the character. It requires knowledge on, for example, gaming as well. And so Dirk is an amazing programmer. I can't state his skill high enough. And I could go on about that. But then we have Simon and we have Dirk. Those are our two main programmers. And as we grow, we have a couple of other people in mind that we plan on bringing in as well. And for example, those are just the software. We have a UX UI design or illustrator and UX designer. So going to have that good user experience. We have a narrative designer. He's been working on quests. He's been knocking out lore for the different areas of Flooftopia. The daily screenshots you've been seeing, if you've been following Flooftopia, that's a lot of Lena's work as well as Alex working together on that. And if once you see the floofs and the animations, you'll see some of Oleg's work.
Yeah, I was going to ask who specifically works on like kind of the artwork, because I pinned some of the screenshots up above, and like, and then also just the bunnies all together. Like, who's done all that graphic design and all that?
Oh yeah, if you go to our website, you're looking at all of Christian's work. Christian Heyung, is the artiste behind all of this. You've seen the Flooftopia logo. I worked with him to get that taken care of. If you see all the backgrounds, once the NFTs are out, the different backgrounds, the different items, different foregrounds, all of those things that will be part of the non-community based rarity of the NFT, all of that is Christian. And whenever we were making sure to get the technology for the Build-an-NFT done, and we're like, okay, now we're working on cosmetics. It was talking with Christian, making sure the UI, UX felt natural, felt good, and that the floof that it produces looks top quality.
Okay, so I'm about out of questions, and I know Blockjock has like 90 of them, and he wants to talk, but I'm not going to let him, because I'm going to get floofed up and ask one more question. What's the mint you have going on right now, so that people know?
Oh, of course. So on JPEG Store, we have a continuous mint for our Flooftopia Founder Pass. And you may be asking, what is the value of getting a Flooftopia Founders Pass? Well, they're on mint right now for 155 ADA. And with that, you will gain access to, if you've seen our most recent Medium article, the closed testnet phase of the Build-an-NFT functionality. So if you're wanting to be on the cutting edge of this technology, as it's the first ever to exist in the Web3 space, then getting that will give you access to that. Gives you an extra role within the Discord server, so you have direct access to the team members as well. And I mean, I'd have to pull up all the benefits. We plan on having additional staking functionalities with Vi Finance. It's a little bit of alpha information, so haven't released too much on that just yet. But we plan to have where you can stake your Founders Pass for Floof token. There's a lot coming around. Oh, and of course, the biggest thing is once the alpha of the game, Flooftopia, is out, having a Founders Pass will give you first access to that as well. Again, it's a lot of beta testing capabilities and a lot of benefits for helping to support us early on.
I hold a Founders Pass. Go ahead, Epoch.
What do you think is going to be your biggest challenge over the next year? What is the thing that keeps you up at night, sir?
Oh, it's a lot. Building a project or building something's always stressful. Let's see. I'd say the bear market probably I'm thinking will go away in the next year. So if you'd asked me a year ago, I'd say that. Getting all these complex pieces together, because I can't tell you how many times we're like, yes. And then we run into a bug and we're like, okay, this is going to take a little bit of time. So I'd have to say, and we've taken care of a lot of the problems. That's part of it too, like a good part of it. Because originally I'd be like funding, but we're in talks with VC firms that, again, who have reached out to us. So that might not be too much an issue anymore. I think it's just making it all come together in the best way possible. That's the most stressful part. And I know that's almost a non-answer, but I would have had way different answers if you'd asked me.
All of it, Epoch. All of it.
It's just the whole process of building something new. For example, if I'd done like a 10,000 randomly generated, I don't think I'd be stressing as much because that's very well paved territory. This is very unpaved territory that we're laying down the first blocks on. And so I guess the thing I worry is the Build-an-NFT not rolling out well. For example, if we go live and there's some bug that we didn't catch, even though I didn't talk too much about it, but the 3 phases, the closed testing phase, then the open testing. So at that point, the closed testing is if you've got a Founders Pass, you get first access to that. Then we go to open testing. That's the entire community. Anybody who has an internet connection and a testnet wallet will be able to test it out, and then going to mainnet. And I guess the thing I'd worry about is there being some bug, some issue that wasn't found. That would be the biggest thing to like stress me out, I guess.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, best of luck paving the way for others, and we'll be keep an eye on things.
Block Jock, I know you had to ask something.
Well, you asked my question having to do with the Founders Pass, and I am currently a holder of said pass as well. I am not a huge gamer anymore. I used to be, but walk me through my experience as a first-timer going into Flooftopia. What is the character going to be doing? And, just a rough estimate, or give me a brief explanation of just exactly how the game plays.
Of course. So you get into Flooftopia and you're met by an individual that I won't give names because, again, I don't want to pull away from the quest lines because we've already got the main quest lines and a lot of side quests laid out already. And it's just a matter of programming at this point. But you're met by an individual and he kind of gives you a very, very short tutorial because you don't want like a really long, lengthy one. And you start to learn about skills. You start to learn about what's going on, what's the problem in Flooftopia, the like land of Flooftopia. And then you decide, okay, I want to go do mining. I want to work on wood cutting. And once I get let's say the lumber profession up to a certain point, maybe I can open up to carpentry. Or maybe I have to do a quest and then I can finally have access to carpentry. And then you decide, you're talking with your friends, hey, now that I have carpentry, I can make my own house. And you get a couple of people together and you're able to take those houses and make it into a village. There's a loop then, like in that section of that social aspect. And then, for example, you go, okay, maybe we want to open a market here in our village. Or, oh, you guys can work on the village. That's fine. I'm going to go out and do X quest. I'm going to start leveling this up. And then at the end of the day, you decide, okay, I'm going to find a passive area to kind of chill out in. And so that when I get back in, let's say 8 hours, I go to sleep and let's say I wake up again, or I have to go to work and then I'm going to come back and play, that I'll get a little bit of an XP boost in this area, in this skill for like 20 minutes when I get back. So I can really make the best of it and kind of plan out my day. So that would be kind of a very short snippet.
Okay, so because I'm imagining, because I love Monty Python and Quest for the Holy Grail, and there's a rabbit in there. It's a very mean rabbit as well. But so this rabbit isn't necessarily mean.
Holy hand grenade!
Does it have weapons? I mean, I like a little bit more action versus like, I'm in a separate reality and I'm having to recreate everything again. I just want to kind of lose myself in whatever, right? A quest, let's say, for example, where I have to go find something or rescue a maiden or whatever the case may be. May that be one of the storylines in the future possibility?
So with regards to saving a maiden, I mean that saving maidens, that might be like a quest line, a side quest line. But again, we're conflict without combat. So, for example, if you're wanting to hit something with a sword, you might not it might not be the thing. But for example, if you played old school RuneScape, there's ways to do bosses, raids, etc. Like have competitive conflict without the need for using a sword. And examples of this would be like the Temporos boss in old school RuneScape, or I can't remember the volcano one, or Wintertodd in old school RuneScape, to where you have, for example, you've got health. So you've got something you have to keep an eye on. You have to avoid, for example, either getting hit or, I have to wear certain gear to give me my best advantage against this boss. So you will be able to do that. And Chris, our narrative designer, I guarantee he can make a quest that makes you lose yourself.
Got it. Okay. Thanks very much, man. I appreciate it. And look forward to what you guys do in the future. I know there's quite a few challenges that come along with this, but it sounds like you're on the right path. So good luck to you.
Thank you so much.
Anybody else have any questions? Incognito, I see you came up. Did you have a question for them?
No, I'm good for now. I'm part of the Royal Chess Club as well.
Oh, okay. Excellent. We'll get to you in 4 minutes, sir. So, I'm all floofed up now. Anything you want to get out? You got like 4 minutes. Anything we missed? Anything you wanted to cover?
Oh, I mean, we covered, I think, the Build-an-NFT in the most detail any interviewer has given. So, I mean, you guys have been doing an amazing job. We covered the Founders Pass. I mean, if you want to keep up to date with announcements, things like that, of course, following us on Twitter allows you to do that. Or if you've got a Founders Pass and you want to get that extra value, be ready for when we have the closed testnet release. Then you'll want to jump into the Discord server. You can use our Hazelbot use the Hazelbot to verify that you have that NFT. You'll get your new role, and you'll be ready and set for when we release that information. So, I mean, I think that really covers it. We talk gameplay, we talk building NFT, talking about developments, certain stressors of development. I mean, holy cow, we cover so much in so little time.
I think we've been doing this for a while, huh?
It's almost like that, yeah.
Hero's pretty good at it.
No, I'm not. I'm horrible. Thanks. I need to know one last thing, right?
Of course.
The game or the alpha, right? Since I'm a founder, are we talking years? We talking months? We talking? Just give me some type of idea.
So if we solidify the deal with the VC firm, the alpha would be within a year. That wouldn't be a problem. It depends on a couple of things. And as I say to people, and they go, what if you don't have the NFT sales? My response is, or we don't get the funding, etc., is Flooftopia will be. It just will take longer. So this isn't something I'm like, only if the winds are perfect and the sun is at the right peak does this exist. It's no. If I have to pick up 2 jobs as a pharmacist, will do. This is going to happen.
So now I know why how you get all floofed up.
So we have 2 minutes. I have one question. It's surrounding the tech, and I completely glossed over it, and I don't know why. Having to do with being able to effectively create your own NFT within once you've gotten in there. Are you planning on maybe allowing others to use this tech and license it out, or at least until somebody else figures it out? Or are you going to maybe enlist other particular NFT projects that might vibe with Flooftopia that people can then effectively, customize the NFT as they bring it into your ecosystem, or how might that work?
So we are very open to partnerships. We've been staving off partnerships for a little bit just because we've been so focused on building the tech. And it's really hard for projects to partner with us when we're an NFT project that for the longest time didn't have NFTs because we were building the whole time. And so, yeah, we definitely plan on having partnerships or being willing to partner with other projects. And also to answer your other question, yes, the reason we built it modular is it doesn't have to be on Flooftopia's website. We can help to integrate this on any website. And that's the whole point. We can integrate on any blockchain and any website. And third, I nearly forgot, #shameless plug. We do have a pool, Loops pool. So if you want to passively support us, there is that. But I mean, yeah, we can easily port this over into any other, well, I say easily, but it depends what all the project is wanting.
Got it. Okay. Thanks. I can actually put Wolves of Rome armor on my Flooftopia bunny. That's what I want. So, all right. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
No problem.
And that, my friends, is Flooftopia. Thanks for taking the time out of your day, man. I appreciate it and coming back. I look forward to seeing what you build over the next year or two. And I'm going to be around because I hold your NFT, so you can't get rid of me now. Like, even if you rug pull, I have a certain set of skills. I'll just hunt you down. It'll be all right.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't expect any less. And I can't wait to see, I can't wait to see how your program grows. You guys have been doing such an amazing job. Definitely be jumping into more spaces. Again, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for listening to Cardano Over Coffee. Remember to join us live Monday through Friday on Twitter Spaces at 1:30 p.m. UTC, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to like and subscribe to our YouTube. And special thanks to Flooftopia for joining us today. Remember, Denver, Colorado, August 24th through 26th for Rare Evo. Get your tickets now at rareevo.io. Use coupon code COC10 for 10% off.